I'm Dr. Anthony Harper here in, actually near Mount Hermon. You see that in the background here, a very snowy day here. And I'm with my good friend Adam Berkowitz. Thank you, Adam, for you're with Breaking Israel News. And so I'm going to ask you about what it's been like. Any noticeable difference since President Trump announced for the Israel sovereignty over the Golan Heights? What's it like for people and for you specifically living here in this area?
Well, to be honest, there's not a real change. Because if you understand anything about the Middle East, if you understand anything about Syria, we're talking about Syria, which has a despotic leader, who barrel bombs his own people, uses chemical weapons on his own people. There was never really any possibility that the Golan would ever be given back. There's no one to give it to. Either you give it to Assad or you give it to ISIS.
Yeah.
And either way, it's one of the most grossly inhumanitarian things you could do. So there was never really a possibility that it was going to be relinquished. And the reason why Israel captured it in '67 at all was because Assad's father, Syria, was using where my house stands right now as an artillery base to shell Israel. If for there to be a possibility of peace, there has to be a possibility of peace. Mm-hmm. And since there is clearly no possibility of peace with anyone on the other side, the Israelis could never seriously consider relinquishing the Golan. It's not so. I mean, it's for us. It didn't really make a difference that Trump recognized it. Whether he recognized it or not, there's just not the possibility that we were going to give it up. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he didn't promise that. His campaign promised, he promised the embassy in Jerusalem, and he came through. And that was huge. Yeah. But this act of giving back the Golan, of recognizing the Golan, that is a pure, unrequested act of friendship. It actually also shows that he is willing to acknowledge the reality in this region, and that I think is always in Israel's favor. So it didn't make a difference in how we perceive our status here or our plans for the future here, but I think it certainly is a huge step in cementing the alliance between Israel and America.
Now, with Mount Hermon back in there, where is Syria in relationship to the Mount Hermon in the background here?
The other side.
Okay.
We're very, very close to Syria, and that I think is. I don't think people understand what we're talking about. We're not talking about huge swaths of land. We're talking about neighborhoods. We're talking about hundreds of yards. And I think it emphasizes that here we are in a beautiful coffee house having a civilized conversation when a mile away people are fighting for their lives and hundreds of thousands of people are killed. And if you don't recognize that reality, and if you make political decisions based not on that reality, then people are going to suffer horribly. And that's I think the result of lies that are told in the political arena.
Well, we want to encourage people to pray for the people in Syria, and it's very painful to think about what they're going through, and that's your concern. We've been praying today for those people, and then also you mentioned earlier that you do work with Breaking News.
Breaking Israel News.
Breaking Israel News. So what's Breaking Israel News about, and how long have you been doing that?
For the last 3.5 years, it's an enormous merit. I've been very blessed to be able to write articles where my main focus is on the revelation of the redemption as it's unfolding in Israel. Mm-hmm. And it's not something that I personally ascribe to, and as a reporter, it's undeniably happening. The world is moving forward. For anyone to say, "Oh, it's the same as it's always been," is an absolute lie. The situation here around Israel, in Jerusalem, is unfolding, is changing, is developing, is moving forward in unprecedented manners. The fact that I'm sitting here with my dear friend Dr. Anthony Harper, who's a Christian, and we have a common spiritual, religious interest is unprecedented. And I get a lot of strength from that you're here.
It's a blessing to be here.
It's a blessing for me for you to be here.
So I enjoy being here with you, and I want, like I said, for people to pray seriously for what is going on here. One day there will be peace, and people want to know more about Breaking Israel News. How would they find out?
BreakingIsraelNews.com.
Okay.
I want to emphasize that aspect of praying for the people of Syria. It's not a matter of you support Israel and this is your enemy. You shouldn't think of it that way. We're all God's children. And when I think about what's happening literally on the other side of the hill from me, I cry. I literally cry. This is not the first, not the second, and not the third time I've come up here to pray for the people of Syria. The people in my town, we can't talk about it. If we talk about it, they'll shut it down. We collect winter clothes for them. And we managed to get it across the border. We collect food for them. The IDF had a hospital station there. There were Syrians in the hospital in Sfat. We're not allowed to talk about it. And I just hope and pray that one day the Syrians can look across the border and see children of God as well, and that all this can stop and we can look and say they have a leader who is not a man of God, and we have to change that.
Well, I pray that we can stop that here soon, and so thank you for your prayers, and it's great to meet with you, Adam.
Amen.
Thank you.